only a few relics have survived, like this colossal statue of Ramses II.
The kings of Memphis were buried a few kilometres away at Saqqara. The earliest form of royal grave was an underground chamber at the bottom of a shaft. It was covered by a brick or stone structure called a mastaba. Zoser, the first king of the Third Dynasty, decided to put a series of mastabas on top of one another, an early attempt to assure his departure from this world into an immortal future.
The result was the world's first pyramid. It was a stepped structure, built in 6 stages and standing 63 metres high.
Of all the pyramids in Egypt, the ones at Giza inspire the greatest awe. Built by the kings Khufu, Khafre and Menkaure of the 4th dynasty, they are among the most impressive structures ever built. According to an ancient Egyptian proverb, everything fears time, but time fears the pyramids. They are the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world that still remain. Khufu built the Great Pyramid to be his eternal home. It's a concept that was of paramount importance to the ancient Egyptians. For the king's quest for immortality reflected the whole nation's desire for never-ending life. His eternal happiness was their guarantee of prosperity in this life and the next.
The grand hope of immortality is mirrored in the incredible size of the Great Pyramid. It stands 42 stories high and covers an area of 10 football fields.
It's hard to imagine just how much stone is actually here. There's about 2.5 million blocks, each weighing around 2.5 tonnes, though some weigh up to 15 tonnes. No 2 sides are identical in length, but the difference between the longest and shortest sides is only 20 centimetres. Amazingly, each side faces exactly north, south, east and west.
When the pyramids were first built, the rough stones that can be seen today were covered with gleaming white limestone. They certainly would have been a very impressive sight. Unfortunately, they've been removed over the centuries to build homes, bridges and other buildings around the city of Cairo. The apex of the Great Pyramid is missing, so it's 10 metres lower than its original size. But the question is often raised, how long did it take to build these massive monuments?
The Greek historian Herodotus claimed that 100,000 men, working for 3 months each year, took 30 years to build the pyramid. Interestingly enough, generally the pharaohs didn't even live that long. Today there is evidence to suggest that the pyramids were built within a much shorter time frame.
It's very important for people to understand that the pyramid was a national project of Egypt. And everyone, the 1 million people, the population in Egypt in that time, had to participate in building the pyramid. Some to cut the stones, some to move the stones, some to send the food, because of the national project. The Great Pyramid was built for about 23 years. All the stones for the pyramid were taken from the plateau, except the white fine limestone. They brought it from a place called Tora.
Irrespective of the time it took to build them, they are magnificent structures and very carefully designed to preserve the body of a king.
That was what the pyramids were all about. Great mountains of stone to bury the dead so that nobody could get at them. And it was very important to the Egyptians that their bodies be preserved. Their concept of life after death was that the ka, as they called it, Ka, left the body, but it came back to the body, and if the body wasn't there, that was disastrous. So they had to mummify the body to preserve it. They had to build pyramids to protect it from animals, jackals, and also from tomb robbers. And so all these complex passages were designed to thwart the tomb robbers. It didn't work. Not one of them was successful. No mummy of the Pyramid Age has ever been found. The mummies you see in the Cairo Museum, they come from the 18th, 19th dynasty onwards, and they were from the Valley of the Kings.
The king is buried underneath the pyramid. He will use the pyramid as a stairs to go up to the sun god Re. Then the pyramid shape is a symbol of the sun god. When you enter from the moon entrance, you go left through a corridor about 100 meters length that leads you to the first burial chamber. This burial chamber is not finished. And after that, if you go from this room up, you will go through a corridor about half a meter high that leads you to two things. One, the so-called Queen's Chamber, which is also unfinished. And of course, you will be in front of the most magnificent thing that an architect made. And it leads you to the burial chamber. It's made of granite from Aswan, and it has inside two shafts. They call it air shafts, but they are not really air shafts. They are model corridors for the soul of the deceased king to go through, one to join the stars and the other one to join the boats that are located, two on the south side, that the soul of Khufu Azra will take one boat to the trip of the day and the other boat to the trip of the night.
The next king was Khafre, who built his pyramid next to that of his father. His pyramid still preserves part of the smooth outer casing which once covered all the pyramids. Because of the problem of tomb robbers in those days, Khafre tried a new tactic to secure his tomb. Using a rocky knoll at the base of the pyramid, his workmen carved a lion 73 metres long and 20 metres high. Carved onto the body was Khafre's face. It was intended to scare away tomb robbers. But the Sphinx failed to protect the pyramid. Long ago its contents were taken. However, the era of grandiose and lavish monuments did not last throughout the entire Egyptian period.
The close of the